Just in time for the final act.
You men and your need for warring vengeance. Talk to my husband if you must. You can get to him through there.
Aphrodite, I knew you would return to me. Kratos.
Pandora's box.
The power to kill a god still rests inside.
How can I recover the box?
With its namesake, Kratos.
The labyrinth! Find the labyrinth!
No! I will stop at nothing to destroy Zeus.
The Omphalos stone. The stone rests in the pit of Tartarus.
I banish you to the darkest pits of Tartarus!
The murderer of Gaia enters my tomb.
With it, I'll make you a weapon.
After you took the box from Pandora's temple, Zeus was consumed with fear.
I told him that storing the box on the back of Kronos would be the safest place. It was your triumph using the box that revealed my deceit.
He banished me to the pits of Tartarus. You killed Ares out of your need for vengeance. Retribution finally comes to me. You sent me to my death!
You are the reason she is in the labyrinth! The evils of the Great War cannot easily be contained.
Zeus commissioned Hephaestus to build a vessel strong enough to hold them.
I forged the box in a power greater than the gods themselves, the flame of Olympus. All that was needed was a key, Pandora, a child.
I'm not a child, Kratos.
I grew to love her, Spartan, and she grew to love me as her father. I hid Pandora away.
I have done you no wrong, Hephaestus.
You opened the box. You took my beloved daughter, Pandora. If you take her to the flame,
you have what you came for. Let me be.
Yeah, you're retributor! Stay away from her!
Never, never learn.
I should have expected this from a coward such as yourself. A coward who kills his own kid.
My beautiful Pandora.
You frightened matters you cannot possibly understand.
Please, spare her. Pandora, forgive me.
Stay away from this thing.
Welcome back to more Let's Play God of War 3, the last one, the end of the saga. Last time, killed Kronos, very nice. This time, we are slowing things down quite a bit. See, after the deaths of Kronos and Hephaestus, the game's pacing kind of hits a little weird roadblock. It's not something you notice as you play. Obviously, as you play, it's a very, very fun experience that you're going to be enjoying very thoroughly. But in hindsight, it becomes a little bit clear that the pacing of this game is a smidge or two off, and it's obvious that there is cut content here and there. So, the first half hour, epic, climbing Mount Olympus. Right now, we're going to be upgrading the Blades of Exile to level 5, so we can finally shift our focus over to the Nemean Cestus. Anyway, first half hour, epic, you climb Mount Olympus, you fight Poseidon, good stuff. Then you slow things down when you're knocked all the way to the bottom of Hades and have to start working your way back up. And then you fight Hades and things really speed up again at that point. You take on Hades, then you encounter Helios and Perses. Then after that, you have your encounter with Hermes. Then after Hermes, you have your encounter with Hercules. Then after Hercules, you have your encounters with Kronos and Hephaestus. And after Hephaestus, things are still going to be happening in the story. This is our 8th godly possession, by the way, the Hephaestus ring. Only 2 to go, and we'll be getting both of them in this video. Things still happen, obviously. The story still moves forward. Things are still building up and moving forward. It's just that the formula that we've been following of these set pieces where we build up hype and tension and then end it with a big encounter is done now. We have no more of that until the end of the game. I mentioned in the last part that we will have another opportunity to play the Sexy Time minigame and actually be able to get more red orbs from it. After killing Hephaestus, if you play the Sexy Time minigame again, it is more difficult. You have different buttons and combinations that you have to engage in, including the annoying analog stick QTE command. But playing it again after killing Hephaestus allows you to get more red orbs. Playing it again after you kill Hephaestus 2 times, you won't be able to get anything else from it. Just you only have the opportunity to play the Sexy Time minigame one more time after Hephaestus to get more red orbs. If you play it again after that, then you just you get nothing. You get nothing. So and there you go. There isn't anything else new in Aphrodite's chamber. This is just a transition. You're just running back through the area you've already come through, because last time we were in a detour in our quest for Pandora, and now we're back on track now that we have the Nemesis Whip. Vestas probably didn't intend to, but now we have a weapon that is going to help us get through this bridge area.
The Nemesis Whip is yours, Kratos. Those who stand in your way will feel its electric sting.
Yeah, so this is the magic of the Nemesis Whip. Very useful. We're not going to be using it all that much. Nemesis Whip is a great weapon, but again, in Chaos mode, we're going to be focusing pretty heavily on just using the Blades of Exile and the Nemean Cestus. Claws of Hades and Nemesis Whip are good. They have plenty of interesting uses. But in Chaos mode, we're not going to be experimenting with them too much, just because things do so much damage. Though in lower difficulties, you are encouraged to experiment quite a bit with all 4 weapons. I'm showing off that the Infinite Red Orb glitch is still a thing at post-killing Hephaestus. It works exactly the same way as it did before. You just you run around the little electric thing. You run back up the stairs, and the 2 red orb chests have respawned. You can do that as many times as you want. To get infinite red orbs, you don't get that many. You don't get that many red orbs, so I wouldn't recommend you do it. You do that all that much, but you can do it and get red orbs for it. Exactly as you could before. So now we're going to go ahead and get these bridges moving again, and actually be able to progress. As I said last time, we were just in a detour because we were unable to progress from this point onward, but now that we have the Nemesis Whip, we can move forward and explore the entirety of the Upper Gardens. I can also start explaining why the Upper Gardens are just gigantic. See, God of War 3 has this thing where it doesn't always bring up a little title when you enter a new area. And technically in this video, we're going through 3 different areas. The Upper Gardens, this next area that we're about to enter, and then one more area after that. But the game does not provide titles for these areas at all. So it treats the Upper Gardens as one gigantic area, and therefore for the collectibles guide, you're going to be seeing that the Upper Gardens is going to be like a 9-minute section of the video, because since there are no additional area titles that are given to you for a very long time from this point onward, we have to treat all of this as just one giant area. This is Daedalus's workshop. It's never called Daedalus's workshop, but it is Daedalus's workshop. He is the creator of the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth is the thing that we were playing with a little bit in episode 5, I believe, the Ultimate Power. When we were making our way up the Chain of Balance, we encountered little bits and pieces of the Labyrinth. Now we know that's where Pandora is, and since we have to find Pandora to unlock Pandora's box, to get past the Flame of Olympus so we can open Pandora's box, we are going to have to make our way back over to the caverns to actually access the Labyrinth. Daedalus is a character that is connected, surprisingly, to Icarus. Daedalus is Icarus's father. Icarus, the mini-boss that we encountered in God of War 2. Man who flew too close to the sun, but in this continuity, he just got a little bit too wisecracky with Kratos, with the fallen god, and suffered for it. We have Icarus's wings now, so theoretically, anything that Daedalus intends for his son to get done, we could get done because we have his wings. So that's interesting, isn't it? So the story of the labyrinth, essentially, once Zeus found out that Hephaestus lied about the safety of Pandora's box, once he realized that Pandora's box was vulnerable to being opened, i.e. when Kratos opened the box, he recruits Daedalus to create this gigantic labyrinth for him throughout the entirety of the time that Kratos is the god of war. Again, we're not going to find out to the very end, but the gods have been infected by the evils of Pandora's box from the moment Kratos opened at the end of the God of War 1, so the gods were already dickish and, not great individuals, not great people at all. But opening Pandora's box at the end of God of War 1 really just amplified the problem to the extremes that we are seeing now in Ghost of Sparta, God of War 2, and God of War 3. The gods have truly just been completely corrupted and have completely fallen. Are completely just parodies of what they once were. Not that we're going to find that out until the very end, but that is what happened. The whole destruction of Greece is... I mean, if we didn't do it, then potentially the gods themselves would have ended up doing this eventually. In one way or another. They wouldn't have killed him. Poseidon wouldn't have killed himself to flood the world, but he might have flooded the world for other reasons, since he was so infected by the evil of rage. Hades may have ended up doing some different terrible things because he was infected by the evils of hatred. Hera may have never stopped holding. Hera may never stop holding Colosseum battles with the Zeus's children because she's infected by the evils of the box as well. So, it's interesting. Just how messed up this situation is. It doesn't, justify the stuff that Kratos has been doing to some of these people like the Poseidon Princess, but it is interesting to think about. It's interesting to think about this stuff in the context of the gods were already infected and already poisoned by this point for a very long time. It's interesting to think that Zeus was already constructing this giant labyrinth throughout Kratos' entire tenure as the god of war. Possibly intending on killing Kratos from the very beginning, but just needing an opportunity to do so, where he would have been able to get away with not breaking his own rule of the gods of the gods being forbidden from killing each other. Zeus trying to engineer a situation where Kratos wouldn't be a god anymore, and keeping Pandora's box well away from him. Of course, that's not going to be the case anymore, but we won't be seeing the results of that for a little while. Daedalus' workshop is a very small area. It is filled with item chests. It is where we are going to be completing our health upgrades and our magic upgrades. We already completed our health upgrades, as you just saw, but we're also going to be finishing our magic upgrades here as well. And we're also very close to finishing our item bar upgrade as well. It's a very quiet area. Again, God of War 3 has this pacing thing where after Kronos, things just really, really slow down again for a while. Things are going to be slowing down. This episode is slower. The next episode features a boss battle, but it's not a boss battle against a major enemy. It's an annoying boss battle, and we're going to talk about it quite a bit when we get to it, because the boss battle in episode 9 is somehow ended up being the most difficult boss battle for me in the history of me recording, in the history of me doing practice playthroughs for God of War. In this playthrough, I don't end up dying to the upcoming boss in the next video at all, but in the practice, I must have died to that thing well over 50 times just on its own. it was insanity. It was truly just craziness. How the next boss that we're going to be encountering. But that won't be for a while. We won't get to that for a while. Certainly not in this video. What we did end up doing is get our last magic upgrade, and the 9th godly possession. We got that within one of the item chests, which is the only time a godly possession will be inside an item chest. It was Daedalus' schematic. Daedalus is definitely not a god, but you know, give him a godly possession anyway. I mean, Hercules had a godly possession, so why not this guy too? Get ourselves these red orb chests, and now we have gotten everything in the workshop as far as I am aware. We can finally shift our focus over and start upgrading the Nemean Cestus. We can finally start making this thing super duper viable for the endgame stuff. It's not that expensive to upgrade either, so once you shift your focus away from fully upgraded Blades of Exile into upgrading the Nemean Cestus, you will find that it's not going to take that long. Especially if you collected every single item chest up to this point, you will now start seeing that item chests, not this one, but item chests from the majority of item chests from here on out, we're going to start giving you red orbs. Not this one, because this one's a Minotaur Horn. We still have one more Minotaur Horn to go. But the majority of item chests from here on out are going to start giving you red orbs instead of items, because we have all the items now, so they replace those with red orbs. And look at that, we're already at Nemean Cestus level 3. It's already becoming even more viable than it has been so far. And it was already quite impressive from the beginning. But at level 5, it is going to be our go-to weapon of choice alongside the blades. We're about to enter a new area, but it's not going to be given an area title. Everyone's dying of a plague. Oops. Let's go ahead and see an old familiar face.
You! I told him to kill you. I told him the day you were born to kill you. But he would not have it. My stupid husband took pity. And now look what you have wrought. Look at this. Look at it. They're dying because of you. Everything is dying because of you. The sun is gone. The ocean swallowed the land. Disease infects what remains. I am doing all I can to keep them alive. But your ruthless murdering of the gods has caused all of this. Ah! You think this garden is not protected? Your brute strength may have bested Hercules. But your simple mind will never find a way out. I look forward to watching you die here, as an old man.
Love that conversation. Hera's voice actress gives a phenomenal performance. Big fan. Love the Hera stuff. Alright, so here we are in Hera's garden. This is still technically the upper gardens. They don't give this area a new title, a new name. It's still just the upper gardens, so we're gonna keep treating it as the upper gardens, especially in the collectibles guide. Upper Gardens is not a major area. The Hera's Garden, I should say, whatever you want to call it, it's not a major area at all. This is still a very quiet section of the game. We have some very basic enemies here. These are the advanced soldiers that cannot be just picked up whenever you want. You have to You have to parry them or weaken them enough to get the circle prompt, and before you can actually, you know, pick them up and ram them into other enemies or anything. It doesn't change much. They're not that difficult. They're just not that difficult. This whole section of the game here really, again, playing it is fine. You don't really feel the slowdown in pacing while you play, but post-playing, in hindsight, it's very obvious. And then you can see an item chest that only had red orbs, because we collected the things that would have been in the chest normally. Hera's Chalice is the last godly possession of the game. As I said, we'd be getting all the remaining godly possessions in this video, and Hera's Chalice is the last one. Hera's Chalice is the only godly possession that is required to finish the game. You have to collect it. It is part of a cutscene. You can't skip it. If you do skip it, I mean, I guess you can if you do speedrun stuff, but in a regular playthrough of God of War 3, you must absolutely collect Hera's Chalice, or you won't be able to progress. And there's a big invisible collider there that as soon as you interact with it, a big invisible wall or barrier there that as soon as you interact with it, you get into a cutscene and you collect the chalice. So you must collect that chalice. You will finish this game with, at the very least, 1 out of the 10 godly possessions, and it's going to be Hera's Chalice. But following Hera's Chalice, there are no more godly possessions. We're going to be getting the final Minotaur horn soon, so there's going to be also no more collectibles to get. There's still going to be item chests, but now all of them, after getting the last Minotaur horn, they're all just going to have they're all just going to have red orbs. The last what, I think 28 item chests in the game following the final Minotaur horn are only going to have red orbs inside of them from this point onward. Again, God of War 3 does a really focuses in on trying to get you fully powered up as soon as possible, so that you can enjoy being at full powered Kratos for the apex of his revenge march across Mount Olympus. But it means that episodes 9, 10, and 11, and the very beginning of 12, when we're still doing regular exploring and stuff, is going to feature no more collectibles at all. So, aside from like one more super required thing that doesn't do anything outside of story purposes. Here we have satyrs. Satyrs are back in God of War 3. They are worse than they've ever been in God of War 3. And that purely comes down to the fact that you cannot grab them anymore to do... You can still grab them, but as you can see, the other satyr in the background is still capable of attacking you and still capable of moving around. The fight doesn't pause when you grab a satyr to do the mash circle QuickTime event. You no longer control the pace of the fight with satyrs, making them much more difficult and much more formidable and dangerous adversaries. You are absolutely going to be wanting to use magic during every single encounter with satyrs. They are extremely dangerous. They can go through your grabs with through your blocks with certain attacks. You can no longer grab them to control the pace of the fight. They have a lot of health because it's chaos mode. They are extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous enemies. They are the most dangerous enemies in the game, I think. And peppered in with one specific mini-boss towards the end of the game, they really are menaces. They're terrible. Thankfully, we don't have that many encounters with them. There's those two there, and then you don't encounter more until, like, not for a while. You very rarely encounter these satyrs, and for good reason. They're very difficult, so I do appreciate that we don't have to encounter them all that much. The latter half of the game is filled to the brim with item chests everywhere, thanks to the Head of Helios sparkly method. The developers absolutely love hiding item chests with the Head of Helios sparklies. There are so many of them in the second half of the game. They really want to make sure that you can get to the end of the game fully powered up to make the end of the game as epic and as grandiose as possible by having you fully powered up. Here's a brief cutscene. Okay, and now we are going to be engaging with the main puzzle of Hera's Garden, which is the goddess sight here, the being able to see through the eyes of the statue in order to get a different perspective. It's a very interesting puzzle. Kind of wish there were more instances of it in God of War 3, but it's really well done in Hera's Garden. I think it's a very good puzzle here. That first part isn't that involved, but there's going to be more to it in a little bit where it becomes a lot more involved. It's very, very interesting. I really like how it's handled. This is the final Minotaur horn of the game, so therefore every single other item chest after this is going to have nothing but red orbs to get you fully powered up for the end of the game. I didn't talk about it yet, but Kratos grabbing stuff in God of War 3 is so much better in this game than it is in any of the others. Kratos moves so much faster when he's pushing things around in this game as compared to any of the other God of War games. That it is not a hassle to push things around in God of War in God of War 3 as compared to the other ones. So I like pushing puzzles in this game because it's nice and fast. We're about to come up to another cutscene here with a very, very interesting outcome that we will talk about once the cutscene is done, so I'll see you afterwards.
You simple mortal. How dare you challenge us? You think you can just walk away? We aren't finished. What have you done? What have you done to me? You coward! You destroy all you touch! Good luck with that little whore you call Pandora.
Hera is the final god that we kill before Zeus. Spoiler alert, we don't kill any more gods until the end of the game when we kill Zeus. And in some ways, this could be considered one of the rock bottoms for Kratos. This pointless murder of Hera. I mean, the Poseidon princess was really, really bad. How he killed her, but this was also pretty pretty merciless. I mean, we're at a point now where just a few words can trigger Kratos. I mean, it used to be that when Kratos killed enemies that weren't like his direct target, it would be because those enemies got in his way in some way, shape, or form. They would get in his way, or they would purposefully position themselves so that Kratos would have to fight them in some way, shape, or form. Most of the time, that's how it goes with other enemies. Either they're just mindless monsters, or they purposefully put themselves in positions where they want to fight where they can fight Kratos because they want to fight Kratos for some reason or another. Most of the time. Sometimes, you know, they're just crazy, or they're just mindless monsters. But if it's a sentient, rational, normal person, then usually what happens is that they put themselves in a position to fight Kratos, and Kratos responds and kills them. But now we're at a point in God of War 3 where that's really not happening too much anymore. Not that it doesn't still happen. Hercules obviously goaded Kratos into a fight. Helios, you could say, sort of goaded Kratos into a fight, but he was obviously in a much weaker position to do so. Hera and the Poseidon Princess certainly did not goad Kratos into any kind of a fight at all. Just, you know, Kratos is just allowing his rage to dictate his actions at this point, as opposed to reacting. I don't know. It's interesting to see him hit his lowest point here. We just solved the puzzle. We're at the end of the video. I will see you all next time for more Let's Play God of War 3. We're going to be heading back into the caverns to find Pandora. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.